Sa mga lalaki sana walang nakasando, ha? Mr. Bahado, Mr. De La Cruz, Mr. De Lumangkad, can you not open your camera? Let's start. Ayaw nila.
Wait lang po, may nais po ako.
Okay po.
Ay, okay na po.
Mr. Abad? Wala. Miss Abelia?
Present po, ma'am.
Mr. Abion?
Present po.
Mr. Bahado?
Present po, ma'am.
Mr. Balala? Mr. Balanon? Mr. Baliedo? Mr. Bautista? Dave?
Present po.
Mr. Bautista Jan?
Present po.
Mr. Bensurto? Mr. Billones? Miss Bulataw?
Present po.
Mr. Calauto? Mr. Calipes?
Present po, ma'am.
Mr. Cordero? Mr. Cruz Jan?
Present po, ma'am.
Mr. Cruz Nashman?
Present po.
Mr. Dalumangkad?
Present po.
Mr. De La Cruz Angelo?
Present po.
Mr. De La Cruz Jimuel?
Present po.
Mr. De Los Santos?
Present po.
Mr. De Rosas?
Present po, ma'am.
Miss Giano?
Present po.
Mr. Diaz?
Present po.
Mr. Elias?
Present po, ma'am.
Mr. Espiritu? Mr. Gadingan?
Present po, ma'am.
Mr. Garcia?
Present po, ma'am.
Mr. Helbuena?
Ilbuena, present po.
Miss Heruta?
Present po, ma'am. Present po.
Mr. Laranjo?
Ma'am, present po.
Mr. Leiva?
Present po, ma'am.
Mr. Lubaton,
Present po, ma'am.
Mr. Mabag,
Present po.
Miss Makale,
Present po.
Mr. Mercado,
Present po.
Mr. Mesa, Mr. Miranya,
Present po.
Miss Miranda,
Present po, ma'am.
Mr. Morada,
Present po, ma'am.
Miss Nabal,
Present po.
Mr. Nebres,
Present po.
Mr. Nicolas,
Present po.
Mr. Perez, Mr. Ramirez, Mr. Ramirez,
Present po.
Miss Rivera,
Present po.
Mr. Robles, Mr. Santiago, Mr. Soria,
Present po.
Miss Tamparong,
Present po.
Mr. Tiongson,
Present po.
Mr. Torrejos,
Present po.
Mr. Tumala,
Present po.
Mr. Vasquez,
Present po, ma'am.
Mr. Viador,
Present po, ma'am.
Miss Villarosa,
Present po, ma'am.
and Mr. Alberto.
Present po, ma'am.
There are still students who did not post their email. There are Bautista Dave, Cordero, Yacil, and Mesa Arjun. Okay, so those are the students who are not yet invited with our G classroom. Here's who is our representative?
Villarosa po, ma'am.
Villarosa. Miss Villarosa, will you please follow up those email of your classmate?
Opo, ma'am.
And I would just like to remind those students who are always leave the GMIT. You are recorded. Hindi lang kayo sa akin naka-record. Pati sa CMU. Kasi they are monitoring us. So if you leave, nakikita yan. Hindi lang ako ang may record. Dahil nire-record ko rin yung mga lumalabas, nawawala. Okay. As we agreed upon, 15 minutes ang waiting time natin. Pag pumasok ka ng halimbawa 10:30 na, I will not allow you anymore. Hindi ka, pwede rin kayo makapasok kung katulad ng iba yung kaklase, nakakapasok sila without the permission. Pero still, recorded na nakaalis ka na. And recorded na absent ka na. Kung if you came late, 30 minutes is more than enough. 15 minutes is more than enough for waiting time. Maliban sa kung minsan nagkakaroon ng aberya dahil pag Friday, minsan may meeting na pinatatawag. Like last Friday, pinatawag kami, nag-meeting, kaya medyo maaga ako nag-dismiss sa inyo that time. So, we had a meeting up to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So, yun, hindi ako nakapag-klase. Pero nasa meeting ako. I was not absent. Hindi lang ako naka-attend ng klase with GMIT. Okay? So, I hope na naintindihan ng bawat isa. Okay. If you are aiming for a good grade, please do good. Dahil hindi naman tayo pwedeng manghula ng grade. Napakahirap maging manghuhula. That's why I'm trying to know you. Though we are in virtual, I am always recording every time that you respond my question as well as when you left, when you entered. Kita naman kung sino lahat ang maagang pumapasok. Diba? Kita naman lahat yun. Nilalagyan ko ng check yung mga naano ko na hanggang 10, 15. Pag wala ng check yung pangalan mo, hindi na naka-red yun, ibig sabihin, though you are in there, hindi ka kasama dun sa na-check ko na maagang pumapasok with the GMIT. So, yun. Tapos yung pag-alis-alis nyo, hindi laruan ng GMIT. Mag-aalis ka, maglilib ka, tapos you enter again, tapos lilib ka uli, tapos babalik ka uli. Ganun, nilalaro lang, wag ganun. Tapos yung katwira ng iba, na puputol ang connection, diba? Hindi natin kayang iwasan yon. Minsan nagkakaganon talaga. At lalo na kung sinasabi nyo, data lang ang gamit ninyo. So, hindi natin maiiwasan. And before you enroll, alam naman ninyo yung kalakaran, right? Alam ninyo na kayo ay naka-online. At pag naka-online, parang parehas din naman yun eh. Kasi kung papasok kayo personally, with face-to-face, mamamasahe ka rin, magta-tricycle ka. Maliban na lang kung kapit-bahay mo yung school. Katabi yung bahay mo ng school. So, hindi ka mamamasahe, wala kang gastos. But at the same time, gagasta ka pa rin eh, kasi kailangan mong kumain, magmimerienda ka. So, you have to eat. Okay? And mas maganda yung face-to-face sana kung binigyan lang tayo ng pagkakataon ng CHED. Dahil napakahirap ng ganito. Hindi ko kayo makikilala. Ang tangi ko lang nakikilala ay yung may mga punto na inilalagay. Pagka may mga punto ako nilalagay sa pangalan mo, across your name, yun. They are the active one in participating the discussion. So yun, doon mo nakikilala, si San Pablo pala, magaling. Ito. Because I have the record. Okay? Lahat kayo nag-aim, may goal. Ang goal nyo ay makakuha ng magandang grade. So, be participative. Okay? Be attentive. Huwag natin mag-iugali yung labas-masok. Labas-masok. It is understandable kung nagkakaproblema ang inyong mga connections. So, how far have we gone with our lesson? I know that we finished with the topic that we discussed about Spanish 19th century, right? Are we done with that? Diba? Tapos na tayo? hanggang notable literature, notable author, Miss Tamparo. What? We are
Sorry,
done.
pindot lang.
Again? Ano po yan?
Napindot lang po.
We are done with this up to notable authors. The generation of 1898. So we are done all of these things. So the topics to be discussed today is about modern literature with Mr. Awad, Miss Abelia, Mr. Abion, Mr. Bahado, and Mr. Balanon. So you are the presenter of this different literature. Mr. Abad, did you submit your topic?
Yes po, ma'am.
File name is Jan Abad. What? No. BSI. Wala eh. John Mark. Wala. Ay, wala. Abad. Wala. John Mark. Grabe, ano ba yung nangyari? And then we have our wine glass. Why did you not put cover page? Hindi ko ba sinabi na maglagay kayo ng cover page? Hindi ko ba sinabi, class?
Hindi po.
Hindi po, ma'am.
Okay. Ganito, pakilagyan lang yung mga ano ninyo. Okay. So, ito yung cover page. Pakilagyan lang ninyo, ha? This one. Pakilagyan lang po. Kung malalagyan nyo ng logo of the university, pakilagyan na lang. Ganito yung tsura ng ating susundang cover page ng inyong gawa. Lahat ako ha, meron ganito. Para sa cover page pa lang, alam ko na yung topic mo. Tapos, please put the topic after Philippine Literature, your topic, and then your course, and then yung oras at araw natin, tapos pangalan ng prof, and then pangalan ninyo, date of submission, date ng presentation ninyo. Okay po. So, nakuha po ba? Nakuha po ba?
Opo.
Okay. So, yun. Tapos si Miss Abelia, nakapag-submit na po kayo?
Yes po, ma'am. Nag-submit na po.
Abelia. File name, Abelia. Morelia. Abelia. Wala. Morelia. Criteria sa good literature. And then, Mr. Abion,
Yes po, ma'am.
nakasubmit ka na po.
May bago po akong sinend sa Messenger po. Pero wala rin pong cover page.
Justin. Abion. Pearl Abion. Yeah. And then we have this. Mr. Bahado. Did you submit?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Richie. Oh, wait. Okay. And Mr. Balanon.
Ma'am, nag-send daw po siya sa inyo.
Ganun. Nicolo. Bakit wala? Your file name is Nicolo Balanon, right? Mr. Balanon. Mr. Balanon. Oh, this one. You don't want to answer me.
Wala po si Balanon, ma'am.
Wala. Nasaan siya? Absent ba? Teka.
Magpa-file daw po siya ng leave of absence sa Lunes.
Sa Lunes. Ah, oo, wala siya. Absent pala siya, oh. Okay. What he... Mhm. May problema siya?
Hindi po sinabi kung bakit. Pero nag-send daw po siya ng sa inyo, presentation.
Oo nga. Andito nakita ko. Okay. So, let's go with our presentation. Let's have first with Mr. Abad. Go on, Mr. Abad.
Kita na po ba, ma'am?
Yes. Will you open your camera?
Po, ma'am.
Can you not open your camera, Mr. Abad?
Hello po, ma'am. Narinig na po ba ako, ma'am?
Yes po.
20th century modernism. It's literature. Literature. The word literature is derived from the Latin word lettera, means letter. Literature defined as pieces of writing that are valued as work of art, especially those in the form of novels, play, short story, and poetry. Modernism. Literary modernism oriented in the late 19th and early 20th century and characterized by self-conscious, break with traditional way of writing in both poet and prose fiction writing. Modern literary genre. Poetry is a form of literature that uses expressive words like figure of speech and creative structure in conveying its message. Drama is created literature to be performed and witnessed by audience. The literature is intended for theater and it's performed by actor in costume and props. Fiction created from the imagination, not presented a fact, though it may be based on a true story or situation. Novel is an extended story, usually fictional. Novel could present various themes organized in chapter and sometimes volumes. Modernism fiction. Heroic age of modern novel, 1912 to 1930. And here's the main writer of novels: Joseph Conrad, James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, D.H. Lawrence. 21st century literature. 21st century literature. The range of years in 21st century literature was written from the year 2000 to the present. To the present. It also refers to the word literature was produced during 21st century, deals with current issues and reflect a technological importance of literature. Literature improves communication skills. The easiest way to improve vocabulary, writing, and speaking skills is to study literature. Learn from it. Learn from what you might be in the future. Literature increases one ability to express the orally as well as enables the one to organize and record through writing. Type of literature in 21st century. Fiction. J.K. Rowling, 2007. Harry Potter. And Martel, 2001. Life of Pi. Nonfiction. Andres, 2016. The Other Slavery. Naomi, Ken, 2014. This changed everything. Genres of the 20th century currently populated by readers. Graphic novels. Graphic novels, which are similar to comic books, in that they employ sequel arts to convey a story, are a format, not a genre, and can either fiction or non-fiction, historical or contextual, or anything in between. Plus fiction, into the art of writing and very short story. It sometimes go under the names such as sudden fiction or microfiction, but especially it's any story what very short. Manga is the Japanese word for comics. This genre considered as a artistic and flowy storytelling style. Its panel were reading from right to left. Science fiction is a genre speculative fiction which typically deals with imaginative and futuristic concepts such as advanced science and technology. And that's all po, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay po, Mr. Abad. Close yung iyong presentation. Okay. Your discussion is with regards to 21st and 20 and 21st century. I gave you also the glimpse of this one, 20th and 21st century. Okay. When we say modernism, what is that all about, Mr. Abad?
Makabago po, ma'am.
What do you mean by makabago? What are their concern?
Yung makabago pong panunulat, uri ng panunulat ngayon, ma'am.
What do you mean by uri ng panunulat nila? What is their style? As we have mentioned, Mr. Abad. Mr. Abad, don't you want to answer? Where are you, Mr. Abad?
Ano po ulit yung tanong, ma'am?
What is the concern of this modernist author? What?
Ano, ma'am? Refers to current day, ma'am.
Pardon?
refers to current situation po, ma'am, on
If the concern is current situation, why is there that on your presentation there is a fiction?
part po kasi ng literary, modern literary yung genre po ng fiction po, ma'am.
Kasi type. So if it is fiction, what is the concern of this kind of literature? And I just would like to ask Mr. Abad, your, excuse me, the content of your Word doc is not as your PowerPoint presentation. What must be the content of the Word docs? What is the content of this?
Modern.
Pardon?
Modernism po, ma'am.
What I mean is that, yes, it is modern literature, as I have read now. But why is it that it's not complete? As I have told you before, the content of your Word docs is the detail of your presentation. What do I mean with the detail? What is detail? Is there anybody from the class? What is detail? Wala po.
Lahat po may explanation, ma'am.
Miss Bulataw?
Complete information po, ma'am.
Who's that?
Mas kompleto po yung information na nilalaman pag details.
Yes. Complete information regarding your topic. Complete. Do not cut. And the PowerPoint presentation is the summary of the detailed topic of yours. Hindi lahat ng sasabihin mo nasa PowerPoint. And please do not read. You can read the slide, but you have to explain what it is all about. Don't just read. Reading is not presenting. You are just reading. What might be the score of that reading? Not presenting. Okay. Range 1 to 10. What would be the score? That is our score, 1 to 10. Ranging 1 to 10. Or hindi naman pwede bigyan ng 0 because you present it. Sige nga, bigyan nyo nga ng score ang sarili nyo. Well, what is the score for that? What is the possible score if you just read your topic? Without explanation, we saw him. We will see every presenter. Mr. Angelo de la Cruz. What?
Ma'am, pindot lang po, ma'am.
Mhm. What might be the score? Ikaw, sa sarili mo, ano bibigay mong score? Mr. Bahada, will you please give me the score? A possible score for that if you just read?
If you just read po, ma'am,
Yes
magbasa
po.
lang po.
Yes po.
Hirap po, ma'am eh. 7 po, ma'am, or 6, something.
Why 6? Why 7?
Ano po, kung consider po yung effort na paggawa po ng presentation.
Paggawa ng presentation. Sige, paggawa ng presentation, bigyan mo na kagad ng 7. Ganun ba yan? 7 agad? 7 is high. What is your basis? Just the making a presentation, Mr. Bahada.
Hindi ko po alam eh. Hirap po mag-decide.
How about you, Miss Bulataw?
Ano po, ma'am? Pwede pong 6 or 5.
Why 6 or 5?
Ano po? Kasi yung parang mas mataas po, kailangan niya po ma-explain para mas maintindihan natin. Pero since nag-research naman din po siya, tapos tinaray niya rin naman po intindihin yung ibang ano po. Tapos nung inintindi niya po, alam niya po kung ano po ilalagay sa presentation.
Alam niya kung ano ilalagay niya sa presentation. Mm-hmm. Mr. Dalumangkad, sorry po.
Yes po, ma'am.
What?
Ano po, ma'am? Siguro po 9.
9, why? Did he answer me correctly?
Di po, ma'am, 8. 8 po. Di ba feeling ko 9 eh.
Bakit 9?
Muntik pa nga mag-10 eh.
Bakit naman?
Di ba, ma'am, nandun din naman po yung effort ng reporting niya po, ng presentation niya po. Yung kulang lang po talaga, yung sinamarize niya po yung yung definition po ng mga kailangan. Tapos yung po, yun lang.
Yung po, tapos yun lang.
Opo, ma'am, kaya muntik na mag-10.
Aha.
Deep daw po, ma'am.
10 is 1, 9 is 1.25, 8 is 1.5. Just reading. If you know the topic, if you really know the topic, you don't have to read. You can glance, yes. You can read your slide, but after reading the slide, you have to explain what is in the slide. And then you can elaborate. You can give details. What is in that particular slide? Kahit paikot-ikutin ng tanong, you can answer. Ibig sabihin, just reading, we will give him 9. Effort. Nag-exert ka na nga ng effort eh. Bakit hindi mo pa tuloy-tuloy? Ba't hindi ba pinag-aralan yung ginawa mo na effort, sabi niyo? Yung sinasabi niyo effort. If it is really an effort, BSIT kayo. Dapat you know how to present. How to make a very good presentation as well as a very good discussion. Because you are an IT. Mahigpit ako magbigay ng grade, class. Totoo yun. Because I want to give a deserving grade to a deserving student. Ayoko magkamali. Mahirap kasi pag nagkamali ka ng bigay eh. Dahil ayoko makapanakit ng emotion ng iba. Kasi mamaya, wala naman nakitang okay sa kanya, tapos bigyan ko ng 9, bigyan ko ng 10. As I have said before, the presentation has a grade. You present it, if you done it very well, and then you answered my question regarding your topic, I will not ask you any question eh. I will not. I will just ask about the topic that you discussed. Hindi ako lalabas doon. If you answered me correctly, then I can give you 9, 10. Those are the two coincide. Your presentation as well as you can answer me. Wala pa ako nabigyan ng 10 from the start, last Monday up to this day. The highest score that I gave is 10 because she answered me really. Kaya lang, why 9? The presentation is not good. He reads every detail, especially his explanation. But he knows what he is saying because he answered me correctly. I give him 9. And I mark his name as a very good presenter. At the end of giving the grades, I might give him 10. Kasi may comment akong very good presenter eh. Pwede madagdagan pa yun ng 1 punto to make him perfect score of 1. A grade of 1. So do your best when you are presenting. Because this is one shot. One shot lang ito, class. You will not do the same way with the finals. Dahil you are 52? Hindi na tayo makaka-second round eh. Because we left only 14, 15 weeks na lang eh. So, please do the best. Because this is only one shot. I'm sorry, I could not allow to give 9, 7, 8, not even 6 when you are reading. Then you cannot answer me. I could not. Sorry po. Yung binigyan ko ng 9, dapat dun 5 lang or 4. Because he reads. Everything he reads. Yun lang ang plano ko. But when he answered me, I gave him 9. Because he answered me properly, correct, with all the details that I need. With all the details that I want to hear from his report, from his presentation. So, please and please, I want to be fair in giving grades. Angit naman yung, if I will score that 9, para na lang ako nang huhula. And I don't want to make hula. in giving grades. I am not making hula. For the last 38 years, I did that. Okay? So, I hope magiging maayos ang inyong presentation. I want to give as high as 10. Please show me that you can get the 10. Okay? Pwede tayo magbalitaktakan sa discussion. Pwede nyo akong anuhin eh. Pwede naman yun eh. Yung argue. Open naman ako sa argue eh. Kaya lang, with respect, andun pa rin. Pwede mo ilaban kung ano yung, alam mo tama yung sinasabi mo with regards to your topic. Okay lang yun. Doon ko nasusugat yung galing mo. Okay? So, ayusin natin ha. Ayusin po natin kasi kayo ang gumagawa ng grade nyo, hindi ako. I'm just recording kung ano yung gusto mong grade. Okay? So, pag nag-present ka tapos tinatanong kita, ayaw mo kong sagutin, ano ibig sabihin? Ayaw mo kong kausapin, ayaw mo sagutin yung mga queries, ayaw mo maintindihan ng klase. Pagka maganda yung presentation mo, na-elaborate mo na maganda, without reading, wala na akong pwede itanong sa'yo because you know your topic. Wala ka na maririnig na tanong sa akin. I'll just give you the score. Yun, pag na-impress mo ko ng ganun. Okay? Just like what you did with your, in your other subjects, in your other years. Ganun lang din naman ako eh. Wala namang iba. Pare-pares lang naman kami. Okay. So, let's go on with Miss Abelia. Ready na po. Your topic is criteria. Show to us how criteria of a good literature as a force. There are so many criteria that you can research. Okay.
Hello, ma'am. Naririnig po.
Okay po.
Nakikita po yung pinapresent ko, ma'am.
Opo.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Morelia Aureliano. I'm going to present the criteria of a good literature as a course. First, what is literature? Literature is writing that uses artistic expression and forms and considered to have merit or be important. Pag sinabi po natin merit, ito po, it gives aesthetic value. What is aesthetic value? Aesthetic value po is more on appreciation of beautiness.
Mm-hmm.
Then, when literature refers to our written works such as novel, short stories, essay, and poetry. The next one is literature as a good literature. Great literature make us see or think things we never did before. Ito po mapasok sa yung isang great literature kapag nagbabasa tayo ng isang literature, then napoprocess natin siya, nakakapag-process tayo ng image sa mind natin kahit na yung binabasa natin is text lang, and it helps us to think outside the box. Why? Because kapag nagbabasa tayo sometimes, kung ano lang yun nandun sa context, ayun lang yung naiisip natin. Pero it helps us din na makapag-isip pa ng mas malalim bukod dun sa binabasa natin.
Mm-hmm.
It communicates din po. Why? When we read literature, it helps us to communicate and interact in a way na kapag nagbabasa tayo ng isang literature, di ba, parang may nabobuo sa mind natin agad na question, bakit ganito, ano yung nangyari.
Mhm.
Then, nasasagot yon. Kaya nagiging interaction siya kasi nasasagot siya sa mga susunod na chapter. Yung sagot mo, I mean, yung tanong mo na napaprocess sa mind mo, nasasagot siya sa next chapter ng author na a-address kung ano yung tanong mo. Kaya nagkakaroon siya ng communication and interaction.
Okay.
At ang literature, it widen our minds. Yun po, it helps to develop our critical thinking, kagaya ng sinasabi ko kanina na kapag nagbabasa tayo, yung sa context na yun, hindi lang yung naiisip natin. Mas lumalawak pa yung kaisipan natin and yung vocabulary natin. Kasi merong sa isang stories or literature na ginagamit nila na unfamiliar tayo. With that, nakakatulong yun para mas mapalawak yung kaisipan natin yung isang word na to na hindi mo pa naaano. Pero kapag nabasa mo, ito pala yung meaning nun.
Mhm.
Minsan gumagamit din sila ng malalalim na salita na natututunan din natin. And sabi ko nga, it give high aesthetic value. When you say aesthetic value, it's more of art appreciation sa kung ano yung story nun, nung nasabing story. And next one is literature as a force. Literature is powerful tool for social change.
Mhm. Social.
Literature is a powerful tool for social change. The best example of it is Noli Me Tangere. Noli Me Tangere is a novel that was an advisor for the Filipino to fight
Mhm.
against the colonizer. It is a tool for us to get freedom.
Mhm.
Yung Noli Me Tangere po, di ba?
Yes.
So, to get our freedom and free our country from Spanish. And literature, nasabi dito na powerful siya kasi kagaya nga po ng Noli Me Tangere, di ba? Isa siya sa naging instrumento para yung mga Pilipino mabuksan yung kaisipan na yung mga Spaniards is inaabuso na tayo. And aside from that, it also influenced the reader sometimes. Kung ano, 'di ba, kung ano yung binabasa natin, hindi na natin namamalayan, pero ayun pala yung naa-apply na natin kung ano yung binabasa natin, minsan ayun yung ginagawa natin. Kaya literature is powerful and it influences people or the reader.
Okay.
Then the next one is criteria of a good literature. We have criteria for a good literature. The first one is artistry. When we say artistry, it's creativeness in conveying message through beautification of words. Dito, kagaya ng sinasabi ko nga po kanina na gumagamit tayo ng mga malalalim na words, unfamiliar words. Dito kasi kapag nagbabasa yung isang reader,
Mhm.
it's about beautification of word. Mas mabilis nilang matatandaan yung line or yung story kasi meron uniqueness sa word na yon or sa story na yon. At ito yung artistry. Easy to remember. And the next one is suggestiveness. When we say suggestiveness, it's about our emotion. It's all about the feeling. It relies on the emotion. Kung ano yung naramdaman mo nung binasa mo. Like, for example, I can give The Necklace. Kung alam niyo po yun. The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant. Kung ano yung naramdaman mo, kung nainis ka ba dahil sa ginawa niya. It's about your emotion. And yung symbolism ng story, pumapasok din sa suggestiveness. It plays important role po sa suggestiveness kasi iba-iba naman po yung response natin sa lahat ng situation or sa mga nababasa natin. So, isa siya sa criteria ng good literature. The next one is intellectual value, mental process. It promotes critical thinking. Ito, hindi lang naman po kasi 'di ba sa mga mathematics gumagana yung mental yung intellectual value natin. Minsan, sa intellectual value, kapag nagbabasa tayo ng isang story, minsan mapo-foreshadow mo na, kahit hindi mo pa natatapos yung story na yun, parang mapo-foreshadow mo na ito yung siguro yung ending nun. Doon gumagana yung intellectual value natin. And the next one is spiritual value. Spiritual value. The next one is spiritual value. It's all about inspiration and motivation. Kung may pagkakaiba po yung intellectual value sa spiritual value. Kasi sa intellectual value, mental process mo lang. While sa spiritual value mo, is parang may involvement ka na. Kasi kapag nagbabasa ka, dito pumapasok yung, what is the lesson in the story that can make you a better person? Dito, parang kumbaga dito may involvement ka na. Hindi siya patungkol lang sa story, pero nakakapag-reflect ka na sa sarili mo. Ito yung reader can reflect and relate sa story na yun, and mapasok dito yung mga moral lesson dito sa spiritual value. And next one is universality. When we say universality, ito yung walang restriction. Pwede siya basahin ng mga matanda, bata, or regardless of gender, culture, social status. Best example ko po dito sa universality when it comes to literature is The Necklace. Again, The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant. Kasi for me, wala siyang restriction, and it gives moral lesson for us that honesty is the best policy. Still, honesty is the best policy, and the value of honesty. Kasi ang story niya doon, kung isa-summary ko na lang para nuggets natin lahat, yung story doon is mahirap lang siya, tapos nanghiram siya sa kaibigan, nanghiram siya ng necklace, tapos nawala yon. Hindi niya sinabi na nawala yon. Sinabi niya lang na parang may nasira doon. And pinalitan niya yun ng real diamond, not without knowing na yung necklace na yun is fake lang siya. So, kung sinabi niya na nawala niya yun, siguro hindi siya maghihirap ng more than 10 years para lang mapalitan yung isang inaakala niyang real diamond. So, doon yung sa universality na pwede siyang basahin ng kahit sino at ng bata dahil meron din siyang moral lesson na everyone can relate. And next is permanence. Wait, here. Permanence. The last one is permanence, remaining invariable throughout the time. When we say invariable, ito yung parang word na hindi siya nalalaos. Kahit na matagal na siyang na-publish. Yung sa The Necklace po kasi na-publish siya noong February, if I'm not mistaken, February 1890. Parang ganun. Pero hanggang ngayon, kapag binasa mo siya, still, yung pag binasa mo yung kwento na yon, parang bago pa rin. And kahit pa ulit-ulit mong basahin siya, makakakuha ka at makaka-relate ka pa rin sa story na yon. And timeless permanence, it's timelessness. There are more lesson in the there are more lesson in the story of The Necklace is the best policy and the value of honesty, like what I said. And ayun yung criteria para sa isang magandang literature. First is syempre yung artistry, uses of words. The next one is suggestiveness. Kasi kapag sa literature, hindi lang pwede na, binigay mo lang, ka lang ng story. Kailangan yung reader din, magbe-benefit siya sa reader. And na-address ng isang story kung ano yung katanungan ng isang reader. So, ito po yung mga criteria ng good literature. Artistry, it's about beautification of words. Suggestiveness, it's about your emotion, kung ano yung naramdaman mo habang binabasa yan. And kung ano yung sinisimbolize ng story na yon. Intellectual value, it's about your mental process nga. Dito gumagana yung critical thinking mo. And spiritual value, it's about how can you improve yourself, or may na-reflect ka ba sa binasa mo. And universality, na pwedeng kahit sino magbasa, ito yung permanence. Ito yung kahit na sobrang tagal na, still fresh pa din kapag binasa mo. And lagi ka talagang may makukuhang moral lesson. And ayun po yung criteria for good literature.
Okay na po?
Yes po.
Okay, sige. So, out mo na yung presentation mo. Okay po. Your topic is regarding criteria of a good literature as a force. Miss Abelia, what is your idea regarding criteria of a good literature as a force?
Sa akin po yung idea ko po para dun is yung kapag, kasi kapag sinabi natin force, di ba, it's about powerfulness ng isang literature. Yung sa akin po, yung sa criteria, pwedeng paulit po, ma'am?
Criteria of a good literature as a force. Yun yung topic mo, right?
Yes po.
Oh. What is your idea regarding that topic?
Yung idea ko po about sa
Your topic. What is your idea regarding your topic?
yung idea ko po about sa topic ko is yung criteria kung paano siya nagiging powerful sa mga mamabasa or yung isang literature. Kung paano siya nagiging usefulness. Ayun po yung idea ko do. Kaya ayun po yung nilagay ko, yung mga artistry. Kasi ito po yung pinakabumubuo kapag sa parang, ito yung pinakasangkap niya para masabi na yung may force ang isang literature. Kaya ayun po yung nilagay ko, yung mga artistry.
Okay. So, when we say force, what's that? It must be with the literature. Hindi pwedeng wala yun. Diba? And what you discuss is about the standard. It is the 7 standard of a literature. Right?
Yes po.
Okay. Those are the 7 standards of literature. There are certain standards that you discuss that can be as a force. But not all the standard that you discuss can be as a force in a certain literature. Because there are certain literature which is not universality. And there are also some literature which is not permanence. Because there are time limit, there are bound limit which had been with that literature. When we say permanence, it considered that as all generations, this literature can pass through because that is permanence, that is timeliness, it's timelessness. Okay? And of course, the style. Why is it as a force?
Yung style po, ma'am.
Yes po.
Yung sa style po kasi more on, 'di ba, yung sa background ng author and kung paano nila sinusulat ang isang literature.
Mhm. How can this be as a force when we give the literary works? Is it really a force? Do these authors need to have this style with their literary works?
Pwedeng
Kailangan,
pakiulit.
kailangan ba talaga na may style? Kailangan ba talaga magkaroon ng style ang pagsulat ng isang literary work?
For me, yes po, kailangan po ng style kasi doon nila mas napaparating kung ano yung gusto nilang iparating sa reader. And kaya po kailangan nyo kasi 'di ba magkakaiba naman po sila ng gustong iparating na message. Kaya I think it's important na magkaroon din ng style ang isang author kapag nagsusulat siya.
It is very important to have this style in order for them to be distinct. Para makilala siyang ganun siya. Like for example, we have different newscaster, right? They have their own identity because that is their style. For example, the style of Channel 7 newscaster, yung may edad na. Who's that? Yung lalaki?
Mike Enriquez po, ma'am.
Mike Enriquez. What is his style? Miss Abelia. Miss Abelia.
Yung kung saan po siya nakikilala,
Yes po.
yung pagsasabi po ng excuse me po,
Okay.
yun po yung style niya.
Oo, that is one. No? That is one of his style. That is his distinction with other newscaster. Though he is not writing a literary works, but he reads the literary works of the news writer. May makikita tayong distinction. And this style is very much as a force of the author in giving literary works because that is his distinction with regards with his literature. Okay, so permanence is not, because there are some literary works which is not timeliness. You know, there are some, and not only some, especially the short stories. I also read about The Necklace. It's good. It's nice story. And kaya lang, siguro, magkakamali nga nung main character yung hindi niya muna sinuri, hindi niya ipinasuri yung hinirap niyang necklace. Okay? Hindi na siya dapat naghirap, hindi na sila dapat naghirap mag-asawa para manghiram ng ganong kalaking halaga para bumili ng diamond necklace. Okay? Okay? Thank you, Miss Abelia. You're good.
Thank you po.
And you explain it very well. How about Mr. Abion?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Wait, I have to open your Abion. Your topic is about as historical evidence. Tama po ba?
Apa.
Okay. You can start.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, hello. Rinig po.
Okay po.
Okay po. Good morning again, ma'am and ladies and gentlemen. Uh, on this topic that was given to me, criteria of a good literature as historical evidence.
Mhm.
Let's proceed to our first. Let's proceed to literature, but as historical review. Let's review how literature can contribute to
Mhm.
such things as history. Literature contributed on recollecting not only the events of the past, but also the important people, especially our ancestors or heroes who greatly granted us our way of life in the present. In this statement, we will know, in the next slide, we will know how literature really contributed on recollecting these moments and events, especially our heroes in the past. But first, let's start off with some characteristics I may consider as a good literature, which are factual, rational, and developed. On the next slide, we I explain these characteristics judging judging by their good literature. First off is factual and rational. Rational, good literature as talking about it needs to be true and rational. It has to make sense. You don't have to write literature about history na it's not factual. Like for example, mm, you're writing about creatures which are dinosaurs. It should be fact na it has evidence that they existed. You don't have to write a thing of history like giants or non-existent creatures na walang pieces that connects to the fact na meron talaga silang existence. Next is the development. Since the reality of the past teaches us about one's natural life during the earlier years, thus it is educational to those who want to recognize the reminiscence of the old times. These statements, ang sinasabi nito, educational siya once you want to remember how in the earlier years kung paano namuhay ng natural life yung uh, the people. uh, for example, in my opinion, ang example nito is um, for cooking, adobo. In the earlier years, we only use toyo, suka, or bawang. But we recognize this today na it developed na hindi na toyo, suka, or bawang ang ginagamit dito. We can also use oyster sauce, pineapple, or calamansi, boiled eggs, and etc. That's how it should be developed throughout the study. Next, history. History is also knowledge. It is the story of the past and a form of collective memory. We learn history in order to cope through difficulties. Knowing what led up to these various events helps us have better decisions in the future. Therefore, this study, um, we view this as history. Yung knowledge na yon we learn that knowledge in order to help us solve our mistakes and false decisions in our first encounters of this memoir. It improves our decision making, especially because of course it is problematic to us. Difficulties nga as highlighted here, difficulties. I can say na ang example nito of course are natural disasters, rains, floods, and earthquakes. Those experiences helped us cope through. We learned how to use the umbrellas, boots, raincoats, and some emergency equipments because of those experiences in the past. That's why studying it is also knowledge. Before we proceed to how a literature is a history of evidence, let's talk about what is evidence first.
Evidence is the information that you can use to support an argument. Evidence can be the quotations and paraphrases from journals or texts that you're analyzing, recordings, material, or photographs. Uh, a good use of evidence answers the questions, did it work well? Or if it does not work, it is likely that you should take on other information that could fit in on the answers that works properly as an evidence in order to support your proof. Uh, but but an ele- but an evidence can also be relevant to the information and argument that you want to provide proof about. It should be applicable to the subject, of course. For example, an evidence uh, when we were kids, nung bata pa tayo, nung tayo nasasaktan, we deny it. We deny na we nadapa tayo to our parents. We deny those, but there are evidence na hindi natin matatago. For example, are the marks or the scratches, yung wound, yung sugat, it is part of evidence na may kita ng magulang mo, therefore provides support na ikaw nga ay nadapa. So yan, relevant. Relevant means connected. Connected siya sa argument na gusto mong patunayan. Your evidence must be relevant. Ayan, yung GIF. Yung teacher. Okay. Another evidence na I can use as an example are photographs. This was taken, I took this from the internet. If anyone is listening, can you tell me kung saan lugar tong photo nakuha? Anyone? Hello, hello. 1, 2, 3. Angel? Hello?
Sa
Saan?
tingin ko ano yan, sa Tunsuya Bridge.
Tansuya Bridge. Wala, nakita ko na eh. Sige. Yes, it's a photo from Tansuya Bridge in Malabon in the early 1890s and early 1900s. And I also took this one from a author na kinuha niya rin as an update of Tansuya Bridge in the 2011s. This is an evidence of history. Ginawa kong example for literature. I'll explain this. Why is literature an evidence of history? Historical literature focuses on examining research throughout a period of time, often starting with the first time an issue, scene, or phenomena emerged as an important occurrence and traces its progression, if possible, up until the present. Ang statement na ito, I'll just give an example, yung ginamit kong kanina. It states the progression of historical literature of ng isang scene, which is this. Makita natin yung progression nitong photograph na ito. Dati, it's only just nature. It's just nature. It's kind of not lively, but it's just nature. But if we look into its progress, there are more buildings, people living, and more agriculture stuff. Next is literature gathers the available information of the past or an understanding of the previous customs and way of life that was left behind. It also gathers yung way of life nga. Ayan, hindi ko na-highlight. Pero it gathers the way of life ng mga past people natin. Like on this, again on this photo. At on this evidence, may kita natin na they're only using kalesas, I think that's Barot Saya, or they're using
Sayang.
Barot Saya, bahay kubo. Yeah, there's no more building, or wala pang mga masyadong building. That's only San Bartolome, I think.
Yeah, Bartolome Church.
But on this one, as an update, ayan, iba na. They're motors, bicycles, tricycles, and they're using shirts, and there are more buildings than before. Next one, it can hold records and reflections of the author, may it be personal or teaching in order to speak of the future generations. On this statement, yung example ko rin dito, pinapakita ng author na kinuhaan ko nito, he reflected, they reflected na it is a teaching that it is a teaching for future generations that a lot of things can change. It changes as long as time passes by. It changes.
Mm-mm.
That's how the author reflected on this literature. Next one is, how do we know if it's a good literature as evidence of history? So on this part, I will now. This is the main part of my presentation. It's the criteria of a good literature, as in my opinion at least. First one is intellectual.
Okay.
Intellectual value from literature studies promotes critical thinking, wherein we would understand some unfamiliar message from the topic. Some examples are modules, textbooks, or articles. On this part, uh, ay, ano- okay, okay. On this part, intellectual, of course, yung example natin are modules, textbooks, or articles. It should teach us. It should make sense to us. It should teach us stuff now we have never even heard of before. Like yung modules. When we talk about history before, we don't know much about dinosaurs, but because of these types of intellectual literature, studying them helped us learn unfamiliar messages from the past. Um, they are valuable, and not only are they valuable on teaching us, but it refines our vocabulary in language. And si SpongeBob nagbabasa. Next one is reliable. The source/author of your literature must be known, therefore revealing if they are experts or not. Experts or not. An expert writer would completely take the reader's interest into the literary approach for one to continue on browsing the study. Um, Reliable, of course, this should be considered as a good literature if they are reliable, because as evidence of history, it needs to be reliable, because it cannot be considered as evidence if your information is not reliable. We can say na it's not a fact. It could lead to false information if it's not reliable, and the source can be providing you fake information about history. So it has to be reliable, at least. Yes, trust me. Next one is permanent. On this term, the literature is present and true before up until now. The idea behind the literature is still capable of being phrased as a fact. Regardless of time or period, the literature remains onto the memory of the reader. Ang example ko nito is yung adobo na sinasabi ko kanina. It remains into the memory of the reader. Like, if they took a read onto cooking books, of course, they will remember it because it's part of their life, natural life. When it comes for them into discussing about that uh, about that topic, up until now it is present. The information or the idea about that study is still present. It is still stated as a fact. It is also valuable as it stays in our memory for a long time. Another example of this in terms of novels is Harry Potter. It is so popular na when it is so popular not only in the past but in the present, it is still popular to us when we discuss about magic or wizards. We remember the reminiscence of Harry Potter as a fantasy novel. Next one, ayan, Harry Potter. Next one is true. It should be true. Uh, we are talking about the past. Therefore, yes, the context must be true, not just something we only believe in. Writers from the era of our history are the witnesses and had experienced the said occurrence personally. It is considered true once the author have experienced it personally. Um, if if they change if they change the factual information of the literature of the past, it becomes a different story. It's not a historical evidence anymore. It's just a story. It's not real of history. It's just something they believe in. They should be witnesses. Therefore, if there are witnesses, therefore, um as they write their own literature, we can consider it as true. So your literature of when making historical evidence, it should be true. Next one is available. In order to study literature of history, it needs to be accessible for readers. Examples are libraries, internets, and newspapers. As I was making this topic, I realized that a good liter as evidence of history, of course, they should be available. Uh, they should be available around the studies for readers regardless of regardless of how many there are literary books. It still should be there. It should be available. It's the information and the study behind those historical evidence as literature. They are important. It should not be kept hidden somewhere because they are messages that are important, especially for the future generations. As an evidence of history, they deserve a spot at least majority of the libraries because the content it provides are really helpful not only to us readers but also to students um and to not only to students but also to some other people. Yes, there we go. The library, and that is all. At least thank you for listening. We write from life and call it literature, and literature lives because we are in it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abion. I just would like to ask, what do you, Miss De Rosas, Mr. De Rosas? What's that, Mr. De Rosas?
Napindot lang po. Sorry po.
Okay. I just would like to ask about the truthness that you have discussed. How did we say that as evidence is why shucks for a while you discuss about the truthness of the literary works. Tama po ba?
Apa.
And you discuss about Dr. Jose Rizal.
It's for reference po.
Yes, it's for reference. If Dr. Jose Rizal written about the truthness, how is it considered as fiction?
Fiction.
Yes. Why is it his literary works, No Limitangere and El Filibusterismo, considered as non-fiction? Why is it fiction if it is
It's just his story po, ma'am. The writing of Jose Rizal, El Fili, it's just a story he write because he didn't take part of that story po. He just ginawa niya lang po yun ang story of I think what was happening on that time, pero it's fiction because it's fiction because it's just a story na ni-write niya po.
But you said, why did you give him as an example of the true?
Ay yung true po it's na I was talking about his literary works po.
Yes.
Na
does he experience
No, hindi po yung literary works na it is historical evidence, but at least it he provided information of how the yung nangyari po at least.
Is it not historical evidence of what happened before?
Um, I am conflicted pa rin po actually sa of that story, but at least maniniwala po akong it can be considered as historical evidence na Jose Rizal existed on that time po.
Yes, he existed during that time.
I
Because
mean
he
yung
was
sa
born 1863. He existed during the Spanish
Sorry.
regime. Bigyan na sana kita ng 10 eh. Sayang.
Oh, wait. I'm conflicted po sa tanong, sorry.
Because you amaze me with your discussion.
I'm sorry, di ko po masyadong naintindihan, but napunta po kasi
Ma'am,
kayo.
excuse me po. Pwede ko po. Hello, ma'am.
Yes po, Mr.
Ma'am, okay lang saluhin ko siya, ma'am. Okay lang po ba? Kasi I think what does he mean is yung literary works ni Jose Rizal mahal. Ay, mahal tayo, ma'am.
Oh, mahal.
Sorry, ma'am, sorry. Yung literary works. Hindi, ma'am, sorry po. Yung literary works ni Jose Rizal, ma'am, we can consider it as a non-fiction, ma'am. So, yung sinasabi niya na fiction is ma'am, yung records and history that Rizal lived, dun siya nagkaka-conflict, ma'am. Hindi niya lang masabi directly to you siguro. Kaya conflicted siya sa bagay na. So, what does he talk about? What does he talk about is the fact that Rizal lived, the books that was written in his time, na nag-exist talaga siya. Ganun, ma'am.
Yes, he was existed during that time. But his literary works considered as fiction. It is not non-fiction.
Yes, ma'am. Ganun po papatak. Pero yung sinasabi niya kasi na yung true na history is
Yes.
yung nabuhay si Rizal on his time, on the books that was written, that is the factual and true because there are records, ma'am.
Oo nga, ang inaano ko lang dito, yung sinasabi niya, the true, yung literary works must be true. Then, he followed na may mga facts nga na nandoon at na-experience ng author yung pangyayari na yon. And then, he gave an example of Dr. Jose Rizal. If you are going to use Dr. Jose Rizal during that time, how can it be? Since
No.
literary work is fiction.
It's not about El Filibusterismo, pero it's his part, yung gaya po nung nangyari sa on the event nung
Mr. Abion, we are talking about all literary works, all. We are pertaining the literature, the literary works of different author. Tama naman yung binigay mong Dr. Rosario. Tama. Hindi mo lang mapanindigan. Mr. Labaton.
Ma'am, baka yung sinasabi niya literary work na inaano ni Rizal, ma'am, is yung El Amor Patrio, ma'am. Yung Love for My Country. Baka yun po yung sinasabi niyang true literary work na sinasabi ni Rizal yung dinadanas ng bansa nila ay ng bansa natin.
Hindi ka ba kasali sa bansa nila?
Sa bansa po na, sorry. Yung doon po sa literary work niya na yun, na pinublish niya sa newspaper, sinabi niya po lahat ng nararamdaman niya. Tapos, kung ano yung nangyayari sa bansa natin. Yung na-publish po yun, nabuksan, umabot po yun sa maraming Pilipino na na-open rin yun. Nag-open rin ng mata nila. Tapos, hindi lang po yung mga Pilipino nakakita nito, kahit ibang bansa po, napansin po yung mga literary work na inano niya sa newspaper.
Okay.
I'm sorry, ma'am. That's my bad po, my bad.
Dinedepensahan ka ng mga klase mo, oh. Mr. Torrejos.
10, ma'am, 10.
Sa tingin ko po ma'am, yung ibig sabihin niya po dun sa literary works po ni Rizal na Elfili is yung effect po sa tao. Which is, napatunayan naman po na yung Elfili is nagsilbing instrumento po para mabuksan yung mga mata ng mga Pilipino po, tayong mga Pilipino po, laban po sa ilalim ng gobyerno po ng mga Spanish.
Okay. All the scenes, all the exenas that has been in that literary works are true. Why is it considered as why is it considered as fiction? Because of the names, not the event, not the scene. The event of Noli Me Tangere as well as El Filibusterismo are true. There are facts. Those facts has been done by the Spanish government with us. How it became fiction? Because of the names. We don't have Ibarra in our country. We don't have Maria Clara in our country. Those are the symbolism of the people of our country and the place. We don't have San Diego here. Ano, chapter 10 of Noli Me Tangere. We don't have San Diego here. So that's why it is considered as fiction. That is the only way. That is the only things that considered to be a fiction of his literary works. But all the scenes are true. Those are facts. Sayang. Sorry.
Anyways, thank you po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Okay. So, Mr. Abion is done. Okay. We have two very good presenters. So I hope that the next presenter will also be as good as they are. Okay. The next, Mr. Bahado. Are you nervous?
Yes po, ma'am.
You have two topics, poetry and essay, which is a very, very long description of your topic. Maybe we could not finish this one. Tackle first about the poetry before. Tackle first the essay, because essay is shorter than poetry.
Okay po, ma'am. Nakabahan ako.
You must be very good than they are.
Hindi ko pa alam,
More
ma'am.
than very good.
Tignan ko pa natin. Okay po, ma'am. Good day, everyone. My name is Richie B. Bahado. Hello po, ma'am. Okay. Good day, ma'am. My topic is about essay and poetry of Philippine literature.
Okay.
Let's first define the essay. So, essay is a short written work that focuses in its subject and on author's argument. It also considered as a tool for expressing your idea, opinion, and expression. The word essay derives from a French infinitive, which is essayer, means to attempt or to try.
Okay.
So, essay has three parts: the introduction, body paragraph, and conclusion. In introduction, we have a general statement. It is a brief sentences that talks about the main topic or subject to catch the attention of the reader. It is the most important because you should catch the attention of the reader to continue reading of your essay. Next is body paragraph. In body paragraph contains the all main ideas, including the evidence to support the essay. It is considered as the heart of essay, and it includes the supporting details and evidence of your essay. Lastly is the conclusion. Conclusion is the summarize of your essay. So you are summarizing the introduction and the body paragraph. Then it should be contains your concluding statement based on introduction and body.
Mhm.
Next is the different types of essay. There's so many different types of essay, but they are often down to the categories of argumentative essay, expository, narrative, and descriptive. So let's talk about argumentative essay. Argumentative essay is an essay that makes an argument, then backs it up with facts and proof. Its purpose is to persuade the reader to agree with the argument being made. Then, a good argumentative essay should use facts and evidence to support the argument. So next is expository essay. An expository essay offers a concise, concentrated explanation of a certain subject, procedure, or collection of data. The expository essay actually it doesn't set out proof or point, just to give, it should be to give a balanced view to its subject matter. So next is narrative essay.
Narrative.
Narrative essay po. Narrative essay, this type of essay is like you are telling a story along with a descriptive essay. Allows you to get personal and creative, unlike most of the academic writing. Its purpose is to test your ability to express your experience in clear and interesting way. So last is the descriptive essay. A descriptive essay is a type of essay that gives a vivid detailed description, something generally a place or object. This type of essay is just like a narrative essay. Its purpose is to let the reader imagine what you are describing. So after that, let's proceed to the poetry.
Poetry? Excuse me. Tapos tayo dyan, poetry. Sige, close mo na yung presentation mo. For a while. I'm just recording the students who left. There are 3. Okay. Don't get nervous. We discuss about the different types of essay. What's the difference between ayaw. Wait. Will you describe again essay? What is an essay?
Po, ma'am.
Essay po.
Is a tool that express your idea, opinions, and emotions po, ma'am.
Okay. It expresses maybe your emotion, but it is more on opinion.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. What's the difference between argumentative and descriptive?
Sa argumentative po, ma'am, you are argumenting on something that you want to prove or you are standing on your po, ma'am, your own opinion. Pag sinabi mo naman po descriptive, ito po yung you are describing someone or object with your own words po, ma'am.
Something or someone. So that is descriptive.
Yes po, ma'am.
Is there a relevance between descriptive and narrative?
Yes po, ma'am. Because you are narrating po, ma'am, you are narrating, ibig sabihin po, parang dinidescribe mo lang rin po yung nangyari, your experience po, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. When you are narrating, you are describing?
Your own experience po, ma'am. Yes po.
So, You are narrating experience.
Yes po, ma'am.
When you are narrating experience, you are describing experience.
You are telling po. Telling po pala.
How about argumentative and expository? What's the difference of these two?
Yun po, ma'am, tulad po ng sinabi ko, yung pag sinabi mo naman po kasi expository, you are bringing the concise explanation. Ibig sabihin, direct to the point po siya, para nag-explain ka po.
In argumentative?
In argumentative po, ma'am, ano po siya, you are defending your, your subject.
Okay. So with that, we will continue on next Friday. Okay? Para makita natin kung if you are also a very good one. Okay? So with that, class, I will dismiss you earlier. Okay, goodbye po. And,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Mr. Bautista po.
Thank you, ma'am.
Napindot lang po, ma'am. Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Goodbye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Thank you, ma'am.